Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and today I am going to start on, or I should say resume, the Kendra's Card Challenge that I started with Cat Scrappiness products last month. So with this set here, paper that's the one that's labeled B. This is the last of the 6 that I need to cut up. So once I have this one cut, I should have all of the pieces that I need to complete the rest of the 17 cards that are part of Kendra's Card Challenge number 8. If you are not familiar with Kendra's Card Challenge, it's really, really fantastic. So Kendra makes available a free download PDF. That's the printout you're looking at here. And she has a cutting guide where you can take 6 sheets of 6x6 pattern paper, cut them down very, very efficiently to be used on, in this case, 17 card sketches. And it's really phenomenal, but also I just think it's of huge value to have these different designs, make, super efficient use of your pattern papers, and then have all of these various card sketches that you can use outside of the challenge. And she does that all, and she makes it all available for free. Plus, on top of that, if you play along with the challenge, you could win a prize from one of the sponsors, and Cat Scrappiness is one of the sponsors. So if you play along with any of the challenges, you can enter your set. You do have to complete all 17 cards and be in for a chance to win some prizes. So now I'm gonna break out the rest of the cards I have yet to make into more bite-sized videos, because I think there's maybe something on the order of 7 cards. So what I'll do is I'm gonna make 2 cards in this video, and actually, as it turned out, I'm not sure why these ones didn't get done before. I must have had some too many other cards that I was featuring in previous videos, which I'll link to all of the videos in this series in the description box below. Some of the videos have already been produced, they just aren't live yet. So when those go live, those links will work. And so the 2 cards that I'll show on this in this video actually don't end up using the pattern paper that I just cut. But what I'm doing is actually bringing in some more papers this is the latest Christmas release from Cat Scrappiness, and the paper pad's called Reindeer Games. It's really, really adorable, but it does also have some really just basic prints. So as you can see, it's interesting because when I chose this, the green plaid, I actually chose it for the reindeer print, and it's always a sign to me of a good pattern paper when, if you had one design in mind and then when you flip it over, you've got yourself second guessing your original decision. And in this case, I actually did decide to go with the side that I didn't originally plan to use. And I think paper pads, when you find that happening, I feel like that's a good indicator that it's a well-designed paper pad, because that means that all the sides are gorgeous, and it's hard to choose, what to use. And so that's how this particular card evolved. And the reason why I chose the green plaid over the reindeer print is when I saw the plaid against the polka dot, it looked really nice as a bit of a monochromatic tone on tone look, and then just having the neutrals in the wood grain and the brown polka dot just felt like it looked a lot nicer than introducing another color, namely the red from the reindeer pattern. So it actually it worked out really well in the end, and I'm super happy that I kind of changed my plans last minute like that. But look at how adorable these kiddos are. So um these are I think the stamp set's called Santa's Helpers, and really, really adorable. And I love how this has been designed so that you have the little elves together holding a sign. And I believe all of the sentiments in this set fit on the banner that they are holding. And then you also have the boy elf by himself and the girl elf by herself, but they are still sort of facing each other a little bit, so you could still put them in the same scene together. And it kind of looks like they are exchanging gifts. So love that they have thought of that so that you can use the elves together or individually, but even if you use the individual elf stamps, you can still combine them in a single scene. And I always find it nice to have stamps where some characters are facing left, some characters are facing right, because sometimes, in a composition on your card, you might want to put your focal image a little bit more towards the left of your card or a little bit more towards the right of your card. And I don't see it as a hard and fast rule, but I generally prefer that my characters face towards the center of the card because I feel like it just naturally draws your eye to the center as opposed to actually drawing your eye outward away from your card. So I've got, so now I'm starting in on my next sketch here. And again, this is another case where the paper that I chose was actually that brown polka dot paper. But then when I flipped it to the back, it was a perfect cut of these coffee cuts. Like it's a perfect strip or a perfect line of coffee cups. And so once I saw that, I thought, oh, that's actually pretty cute. So let's see what we can do with that. And there's a Reindeer Games stamp set which actually has a reindeer sort of dancing and holding a mug of I think he's drinking hot chocolate, but just any warm drink because there is some steam coming out of his cup. And so I thought that would be perfect to pair with this little accent strip. Now the accent strip does end up getting covered quite a bit once I've got this stitched. This is one of the nested arch die sets. And that's one thing that if you play along with Kendra's card challenge, you don't have to be a stickler for the shapes that are indicated on the sketches. So you may see an oval, for example, in the card sketch, but you can always swap that out for any shape that you have, or you don't even have to use a shape. You can just maybe collage some die cuts or ephemera to create a your scene or your focal image there. So the sketches are more of a starting point, and to qualify as having completed the challenge, you just need to maintain kind of the spirit of the card design, but that doesn't mean you can't flip the design or even rotate it from a portrait to a landscape card. Just whatever works, as long as it's still recognizable as having been inspired and at least starting with the original sketch. So I am going to again bring in some more pattern papers. This all of the wood grain paper that I'm using is actually also from Cat Scrappiness. It's from the Lumberyard um, paper pad. So it's really great. You get a lot of different shades of wood grain in various thicknesses or widths of, I guess, planks, wood planks. So it's a really nice sort of versatile paper pad to have. I think it goes with, you can combine wood with a lot of different themes, with a lot of different patterns. I feel like it's almost just like a nice neutral. And there are some boards like this that are lighter and more kind of that whitewash effect of worn wood, and then there are some that feel like a little bit more polished and like wood flooring, for example. So, so now I'll start to assemble my cards a little, and the card sketches are fantastic. They show you exactly, which pattern papers labeled A through F um, are used in each of those different designs. But you'll notice that some sketches have more kind of open space for you to bring in some other things of your choosing. So you are going to need more than just the 6 sheets of 6x6 paper. And that can be in the form of solid color cardstock. I like to just bring in some more pattern paper. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I just find it as a nice way to bring in more patterns, especially if I'm using the same paper collection. And that's actually the one thing that I'm doing differently with this particular set of 17 cards. Usually what I do is I just use the same all 6 sheets of pattern paper that I use are usually out of the same paper pad. But with this challenge, I wanted to try two things. One, I wanted to break up the challenge into smaller bits. So cut 1 or 2 sheets, make a handful of cards. That way it's not quite so overwhelming to feel like I have to sit down and make all 17 cards in one go, which I've done a couple times before. And then the second goal that I had was to work from different paper pads. And sometimes that can be hard, but you'll find that most paper pads, at least well-designed ones, they definitely have a theme for whatever it is they were designed for, but you're gonna always find some really basic prints, some really basic all occasion colors, and those were the ones that I really strived for. So even if the color palette isn't 100%, because so many of the sketches do have opportunities for you to bring in something else, whether it's solid color cardstock, an embossed panel, an inky background, there's opportunity for you to kind of pull it all together eventually, somehow, right? So like this strip of coffee paper, it's from the Cup of Love paper pad, but I'm pulling in some of that wood grain paper, which I feel like is almost, as I mentioned, it's almost just like a nice neutral pattern. And then I've pulled in some of the pink and some of the teals straight out of that strip of coffee cups. And my last finishing touch is some of the new glitter sequins that came out with this release as well. So you don't necessarily have to stick to a single paper pad. You could use this as a way to kind of use up the rest of maybe a paper pad that's coming towards its end. Maybe you don't have 6 sheets left. So long as those patterns are kind of basic, you might get away with being able to mix and match them with other paper pads that you do have. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I think the next two that will complete this series will be on the Cat Scrappiness YouTube channel. So keep an eye out over there if you haven't subscribed to either of our channels. I'm sure Cat would love for you to subscribe to the Cat Scrappiness channel, and I definitely would love for you to subscribe to my channel. So until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.